Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to the Software Architecture Quality Attribute presentation. Today we will be diving deep into the ins and outs of the usability quality attribute. This time, we will cover these key points. What is usability? Why is usability important? When to consider usability? How to achieve great usability? Examples, and the advantages and disadvantages of prioritizing usability. First things first, what is usability? Usability has been defined many times by many authors. For example, McCall defines usability as the cost or effort to learn and handle a product. The ISO defined it as the extent to which a product can be used by specified users to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of use. While Shackle views usability as the capability in human functional terms to be used easily and effectively by the specified range of users, given specified training and user support to fulfill specified range of tasks within the specified range of scenarios. Different authors construct different lists and compositions of what the attributes of usability are, but they all pretty much agree on the same basic notions. All definitions are based on a combination of two different views on how usability should be measured. The first one is the objective or performance-oriented view. Usability can be measured by analyzing how a user interacts with the software by, for example, measuring the time it takes to learn or perform a particular task or the number of errors made during a task. In other words, the learnability, efficiency, and reliability. The other is the subjective or user view. Usability can be measured by analyzing what a user thinks of the product, meaning the satisfaction or the attitude. Usability comprises the following areas. First things first is learning system features. If the user is unfamiliar with a particular system or a particular aspect of it, what can the system do to make this task of learning easier? Next one is using a system efficiently. What can the system do to make the user more efficient in its operation? This might include the ability for the user to redirect the system after issuing a command. Next one is minimizing the impact of errors. What can the system do so that a user error has minimal impact? Next one is adapting system to user needs. How can the user adapt to make the user task easier? Last one is increasing confidence and satisfaction. What does the system do to give the user confidence that the correct action is being taken? There are also other aspects of usability. There is memorability, satisfaction, flexibility, accessibility, consistency, feedback, navigation, and aesthetics. Next, we will go on to why is usability important. Usability is an important aspect in software architecture for several reasons. First things first is that usability is not just a nice to have, it's a fundamental driver of a software product's success. Users are more likely to adopt and continue using a system that is easy to navigate and provides a positive experience. Numerous studies and real-world examples highlight the correlation between good usability and positive outcomes. Whether it's a mobile app, a website, or a complex software application, user-friendly design significantly influences engagement. Good usability reduces the learning curve for new users. Imagine downloading an app and being able to seamlessly navigate its features without frustration. This positive first impression contributes to the user's overall perception of the software. Lastly, it's a key factor in attracting and retaining users, fostering loyalty, and ultimately determining the success of a software product. When to consider usability? The short answer is from the very beginning. Usability should be woven into the fabric of the software architecture right from the initial design phase. By addressing usability early on, we set the stage for a user-centric approach. User experience becomes a guiding principle rather than a retroactive consideration. However, it is important to note that it's never too late to address usability concerns. At any stage of the software development lifecycle, improvements can be made to enhance the user experience. Consider usability as a continuous thread throughout the development process. Regular assessments, feedback loops with users, and iterative design ensure that the software evolves to meet user needs effectively. The goal is not just to fix usability issues, but to cultivate an environment where usability is an ongoing consideration. Usability should be considered throughout the entire software development process, from the initial concept phase to post-launch maintenance. Here's a breakdown of when usability should be a priority. The first one is right from the beginning, during the concept and planning phase. Understanding user needs at the outset sets the foundation for a user-centric design. This phase involves conducting preliminary user research in identifying key user personas and outlining usability requirements. The next is the design phase. During the design phase, usability considerations are integral to the design process. This is the stage where wireframes, prototypes, and user interfaces are created. Design decisions such as layout, navigation, and information architecture heavily influence the overall usability of the system. The third one is the development phase. Throughout the development process, usability should be an ongoing consideration during the implementation of features. Developers should follow design principles that prioritize user-friendly instructions. Continuous collaboration between designers and developers ensures that the intended usability is maintained during implementation. Next is the testing phase. Usability testing is crucial to identify any issues or areas for improvement. Testing should be conducted iteratively throughout the development process. Feedback from real users helps refine the user interface, address usability issues, and ensure that the software aligns with user expectations. And for the deployment and launch, prior to launch, a final round of usability testing can catch any last-minute issues. Post-launch, monitoring user feedback and behavior help address any unforeseen usability challenges that might arise. Next is the post-launch and maintenance. Even after launch, usability remains a critical consideration. Analyzing user feedback, monitoring user behavior through analytics, and staying responsive to evolving user needs ensure that the software remains user-friendly. Lastly, regularly throughout the software lifecycle, we do the iterative improvements on the usability, because as technology evolves and user expectations change, the software should adapt. Regular assessments and updates based on user feedback contribute to sustained usability improvements. Next, we will cover on how to achieve great usability. Here are the key steps to maintain good usability. Number one is user research. We conduct in-depth research to understand your target users, their needs and behaviors. We define user personas to create detailed user personas based on the research findings. We clearly define usability goals and establish metrics for evaluation. Embrace an iterative design process. Regularly conduct usability testing throughout the development process and organize information in a clear and intuitive manner. Also, ensure usability across different devices and screen sizes, simplify complex tasks, and minimize cognitive load. Provide immediate and clear feedback to user actions. Ensure the software is accessible to users with diverse needs and abilities. Establish channels for ongoing user feedback, and follow established usability guidelines and standards. Next, we will cover the examples of usability. For the first example, we can talk about canceling commands. When a user invoked an operation, then no longer wants the operation to be performed, the user now wants to stop the operation rather than wait for it to complete. It does not matter why the user logged the operation. The mouse could have slipped. The user could have mistaken one command for another. The user could have decided to invoke another operation. For these reasons and many more, the system should allow users to cancel operation. Next is checking for correctness. A user may make an error that he or she does not notice. However, human error is frequently predictable by the structure of the system, the nature of the task at hand, and by perceptual, cognitive, and motor limitations. For example, users often type HTE instead of the in word processors. Computer-aided correction becomes both possible and appropriate under such circumstances. Supporting international use. A user may want to configure an application to communicate in his or her language or according to the norms of his or her culture. For example, a Japanese user may wish to configure the operating system to support a different keyboard layout. However, an application developed in one culture may contain elements that are confusing, offensive, or inappropriate in another. Systems should be easily configurable for deployment in multiple cultures. Lastly, is supporting undo. A user performs an operation that no longer wants the effect of that operation. For example, a user may accidentally delete a paragraph in a document and wish to restore it. The system should allow the user to return to the state before that operation was performed. Furthermore, it is desirable that the user then be able to undo the prior operation. There are other examples, including aggregating data, using application concurrently, evaluating the system, recovering from failure, providing help, reusing information, modifying interfaces, supporting multiple activities, and many more. Next, we will cover the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages in prioritizing usabilities are user satisfaction. The primary benefit of prioritizing usability is improved user satisfaction. A system that is easy to use and navigate leads to a positive user experience, fostering satisfaction and loyalty. Software with high usability is more likely to be adopted by users. Users are more inclined to explore and engage with a system that is intuitive, resulting in higher adoption rates. Thirdly, usability-focused design minimizes the time and effort required for users to learn how to use the software. This reduces the learning curve, making the system more accessible to a broader audience. Usability contributes to a positive brand image. Software that consistently provides a pleasant user experience builds trust and loyalty, leading to a positive reputation for the brand. In a competitive market, a user-friendly product stands out. Prioritizing usability can give a software product a competitive edge by attracting users who value a straightforward and enjoyable experience. Usability-focused design streamlines user workflows, making it easier for users to complete tasks efficiently. Intuitive design and usability reduce the need for extensive user training and support. Users can navigate the system with minimal assistance, resulting in cost savings. Users who have positive experiences with the software product are more likely to share their satisfaction with others. In applications involving e-commerce or transactions, good usability can lead to increased conversion rates. Prioritizing usability involves continuous user feedback and iteration. This adaptability ensures that the software evolves based on real-world user experiences. Usability improvements often correlate with positive business metrics, such as increased user engagement, retention, and revenue. Lastly, usability considerations often overlap with accessibility, making the software more inclusive and accommodating. Despite all of the advantages, there can also be disadvantages and trade-offs in prioritizing usability. The first one is performance impact. Overemphasizing usability might lead to compromises in performance. For instance, implementing complex visual effects or animations for a aesthetically pleasing user interface could potentially slow down the system. Simplifying authentication processes for user convenience might inadvertently weaken security protocols. Prioritizing usability might result in design choices that are optimized for a specific user base. Focusing too heavily on usability could lead to compatibility issues with different devices, browsers, or operating systems. Overemphasis on usability may sometimes make the software less modular or extensible. Design choices optimized for a specific user interface might complicate future updates. Implementing high levels of usability, especially in terms of rich graphics and animation, may require significant computational resources. Implementing advanced usability features might require a steeper learning curve for developers. This could potentially slow down the development process or limit the pool of developers capable of working on the project. Achieving top-tier usability often involves additional costs, whether for user research, design iteration, or usability testing. Usability is often subjective, and what works for one user may not work for another. Striking a balance between a universally appealing design and individual user preferences can be challenging. Design choices that enhance usability for some users may inadvertently exclude others, particularly those with disabilities. Achieving both high usability and full accessibility requires careful consideration and additional design efforts. That should be all. Thank you for listening, and good day.